Setup day. So today I need to find out how much of a shim I'm going to need in this thing. I'm definitely going to need one. Tail of the neck is awful low. This bridge is higher than the last one was. So the plan is to find out how much of a shim I'm going to need, find out the angle I need, take the measurements on that, and then make a shim for it. Then I need to put a nut in it, and once I get the nut put in place, before I do all the final tweaks on that, I can get a set of strings on this, string it up, make sure everything's working the way it's supposed to, and then I can go from there. So first things first, let's find out how low the tail of this neck is. And it definitely needs to be moved for sure. So what I'm going to do is, I've already loosened the screws in the back of this, so I can make some push adjustments here. And that's almost where I like it. That's about perfect. It just sits. Just hits the top of the yep. So that's going to be good. So now what I'll do is I'll take the measurements on it, so I know how thick I need to make my shim for my neck tilt. And it appears that right now this measurement is at 0.254. This measurement 0.205. So 50 thousandths, basically a 50 thousandths of an inch shim. So let's make a shim 50 thousandths of an inch. All right, now that we got that, I can take this neck off, trace the end of it, and we can tilt this puppy back. Okay, after taking a little bit of a break here to get a couple things done, got my shim made. It will sit perfectly in the pocket. All I did once I got the tape stacked was to lay the neck on it, trace it out, and then just take a pair of scissors and cut it. And then we'll go on ahead and put this on, make sure that it's seated in, and then recheck and make sure. If it's too high, then very easily just peel a layer or two off and be good. Grab my straight edge and see where it hits this time. Yeah, it's going to actually work out quite nicely. It's just a little high, but okay, so Now that we've got this, I'll probably go on ahead and take the time to polish out these frets really quick. I'll fire up the Dremel tool with a polish wheel on it and go to town on this. And then I will, the old nut that was on it, he wants to replace it with the bone. So we'll go on ahead and I've got everything spaced and started to be cut already, so can shape the bottom of the nut to fit this neck and we'll be able to go. Creates a little heat. All that was just a polished wheel. It's already got the polish impregnated into the wheel, so I didn't have to put any compound on it or anything. Now it's time to put the nut in. So to start, I like to use my little tool here and nut slot is slightly narrow for the new nut, so let's widen it just a hair. Not only was it setup day, but it was trouble with the camera day. The camera shut off on me 3 times today, but I finally got this thing together. It died on me when I was putting the strings on it, so I went on ahead and finished putting the strings on it. After setting up the strings, or after getting the strings put on, I made sure the nut was the proper height. Then I made a few little adjustments here and there. The neck is shimmed perfectly at this point. Had to raise the bridge just a little bit. And to raise the bridge down inside each one of these little pockets, you take I believe it's a 1/16. No, not a 1/16. 5/64 hex key. Down inside each pocket there is an adjustment screw. Screw it clockwise, raises the bridge, counterclockwise, lowers the bridge. And then the same thing for the cigar, or for the trim piece, the tail piece. It takes a 3/32. You can raise and lower that to help change the break angle on the string and also help balance the tension between the strings and the 2 springs on the bottom side of this. Pretty much have everything pretty well balanced right now. It's pretty tedious work anyway to film. So going down, when I dive the tone, it seems to come back to tune pretty well. When I raise the tone and bring it back, it doesn't want to come back to tune unless I bump the handle back down So coming up, I have to bump it back down. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll lube these, the fulcrum pieces here. For, next time we see this guitar, it'll be all lubed and everything will be set, and hopefully that will fix that part. Then we'll do a final setup and intonation on it and get it ready and get it out the door. So we're coming down to the wire on this. Today I'm going to slacken the strings off of this, now that they've kind of had a night to stretch in a little bit. Slacken the strings off of it, get those out of the way. I'll go through, take my nut files and clean up all of these nuts, or these nut slots, I should say. Make sure that they're proper for the good string glide through it. I'll also come down here to the other end of the guitar where the trim is, and I'll lubricate the points where there's contact between the pivot points, all the friction points. I'll make sure that they're well lubricated so that this thing will work the way it's supposed to. I won't take it back off, I won't have to do that, but I'll be able to get down underneath and get them lubricated in pretty well. Then I will string this thing back up properly with the locking tuners and get this thing back up to playing, and then I can adjust the pickup heights, make sure all action is adjusted the way I want it. Well, probably adjust the action first, then set the pickup heights, and then get this thing back to its owner. It's been quite the fun project, actually, so let's move a couple things around and get after it. So like I said, I'm going to start with the nut slots. These things are really close. He's going with a slightly modified set of strings, very similar to what I like to play on mine. And like I said, all I'm doing is I'm just cleaning these up. He's running a 9.5 to 46 set of strings, and this 46 does not drag really well, so we want to make sure that this nut has good, smooth slots for the strings that are going to be going in it, so that they set properly and they actually slide properly through the nut. And I'm not necessarily looking to go any deeper than what they are, because the relief is pretty darn close, at least on these bass strings. So the idea is to make them nice and round on the bottom, but kind of open them up just a little bit from side to side. Bridge is out. So now that means I can go through and I can put some lubrication down in these spots down here where this fulcrum point is, and I can put a little bit of lube down inside the pickups. The reason why I lube down inside underneath and not on top where the strings rest is because you want friction up here on the top. With the way how this is made, the way how this bridge is designed, the bridge moves with the cigar as it moves back and forth. So no lubrication up here on the saddles, only on the friction points of the bridge. You want to have friction where the string meets the saddle, because that is it's just where that's where the magic happens, is below it, not right there on the top. So I'm going to file the top of that nut down just a little bit. The reason why I'm doing this is so the strings aren't buried so far down underneath that they might get grabbed later on by this nut. So we're just going to take a little bit off on the base side is fine, but we're going to lower this top of this down just a little bit on the treble side. And again, small increments on these. You don't have to work real fast. Trying to work fast actually gets you in more trouble than it's worth, so. I'm not using a really aggressive file for this. I'm just it's a single cut, very shallow tooth single cut, mild file that I'm using. Alright, so string trees are back on now. Finish pulling these strings through. Sounds like it's coming together. Alright, let's check the travel on this bridge, where it sits. Right in the middle of the travel. Nice. Nice.